What's up, guys? Barry Game here, back with some more Idle Heroes, and today we've kind of discovered a lot with the new Void campaign coming out, seeing what whales are doing, and even big spenders out there. And this is kind of more geared towards you. I know a lot of our stuff is typically like more free-to-play friendly, low mid-spender friendly. We do whale stuff. That's not stuff you guys should do. But I want to talk about for those who want to spend and get the best progress on their account, what they should be spending on, because as we've seen, there's certain things that really matter for the overall power of your account, while other ones are nice to have. They're definitely not what you need to make the progression. So we're going to go over all the different currency systems and paid. We're going to start with number one. We're going to go with the most important one and work our way down the list. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. Let's jump right into it. So first up on the list has to be probably the most important thing right now, and it has to do with the auction house, and it has to do with just any old giant killer copy. Like getting specific heroes, really, your giant killer copies. Mockmen is one that's very important to go for. Vulcan, another one. Lord of Fear, Aspen. Those are like the top three damage dealers you typically see on accounts that are making crazy progress. Honestly, if I really had to break it down, I would say the best options to go for would be a Mockman or a Vulcan. And as you guys can see here, price-wise, Vulcans are definitely more expensive on the average, whereas Mockmans, you can get for a little bit cheaper. Of course, even some copies like this that have low attack isn't great, but one thing you really do need to focus on is making sure a copy you get has a decent attack value, more than just what we originally thought, because of how Treasure Train works. And this right here is actually a multiplier for any of those fixed stats you're going to get from Treasure Train and all those other places. This isn't just a flat 5,460 attack that you're getting in your account. It's really a 1.546 multiplier to any stats you gain in places like Treasure Train. So that number is actually much more important as possible. But of course, the big thing here is making sure you are getting Giant Killer. When dealing damage to a target, deals 2% more, up to 100% for every 10% above self HP. Just the most important thing, because you're always going to be going up against opponents that have gigantic health pools in these game modes. Now, PvP, it might not be as relevant, but PvE, it definitely is. There are a couple other ones you might want to go for as well, such as Defier, which is why this copy is actually pretty good if you can steal it for the bid amount here. Defier says when dealing damage, if a target HP is above 60% or 70%, you deal 30% more damage. That is important on some heroes. Ones like Mockman and Vulcan that hit multiple times isn't as important, because as those hits hit the target below 70%, you do lose the extra 30% from Defier, but it's still really good if you're going for huge burst content. And then of course you got heroes like Vulcan, kind of the same thing. Again, Defier's not really that important on Vulcan. Giant Killer is. Defier, you're gonna, especially in most game modes, you're going to be nuking them down below 70% so quickly. Going for other stats like skill damage and stuff might be the better option. But if you are not saving your starry gems and you're not doing your conversions here as much as possible, because it's going to take you a couple days at least, it takes a while to build up your credit rating. I know it sounds weird to talk about that in a game, but it is the most important place to focus your money if you are a spender. Now, the second most important place to spend your money on is going to be your Cloud Island. And you really can't rush it too much. You just need to participate in all the events. It's going to be very hard to catch up. I mean, you guys can see I only just finished my third plot and working on my fourth right now. Any events we really focus on in the future are going to be ones that focus on Cloud Island. Getting a full 6-hero team built all the way up to level 100, I think, is going to be the most important part. And then working on your tenants. You can see even our tenants, we have a few of them really strong. Some of these other ones we're going to have to bring up into origin levels. Very important, because this is going to be a very slow burn. Now, there are a few ways you can speed this up. I think there's even a monthly package here. You can get, one purchase. It's not much. Like I said, again, very slow burn. There's some premium resources here in the monthly ones as well. Starry Gem Mall is where it's at, though, because I actually purchase these once in a while. The Luxury Cloud Island chest. Now, it is, again, only one reward out of this, but you can purchase it up to, I think, 10 times in a month, I believe. And then yeah, I think there's a actually I think that's the only one you can purchase. I don't even think there's a premium one in here. Those are important. The other ones you can go for are the Cloud Island skin chest. These are going to give you 5 levels on every single node, so going again a little bit different. One's like the Viking saga, one of them is the actual resources, but chasing after those to get up to maxed out Cloud Island locations, that is how you're really going to progress your account, especially when you have all these A copies that are giving you Giant Killer. So the third spot we're going to talk about is actually going to come in the form of, it's interesting. It's going to come in the form, I still think, of Cores of Transcendence. So this is going to be something you are never, ever going to stop doing, because one, you're going to need Crystals of Transcendence to continue making more Transcendence heroes, but the one resource you are never, ever going to have enough are Stellar Shards. So every time you get a sphere from doing your Cores of Transcendence, you need to be converting them to Stellar Shards. As you guys can see on our account here, like, I'll just go to this view here. We have a ton of heroes up in these origin levels, but you'll notice when you're leveling up through the origin levels, it costs a ton of Stellar Shards even to progress. I'll just show you guys in the tree here. Like, if you were to upgrade, it takes 153,000 Stellar Shards, yet only like 20,000 Essence. Like, it's not comparable. You need so many more Stellar Shards, because then on top of that, you're doing your Tenant heroes up to V3 plus to try to maximize their progress as well, which I think we're still working on one of ours right here. Yeah, you can see, like, even us, we're not even like, we're still working on our Tenants to this day when we have an account this strong. And you'll even notice, like, our 3rd and 4th houses, again, talking back to Cloud Island here, they're still not even fully kitted out here. You can see here there's a bunch of heroes that have no Stellar Shards whatsoever on them. You are always going to need Stellar Shards, so that is number 3. Definitely something to chase are Cores of Transcendence. And then after that, we're going to talk about the Galactic Treat. Now, going after eggs aren't necessarily like the thing you need to be going for, but what I would say you do need to go for are upgrade materials, mainly the Star Spawn Core 5s and the Star Spawn Core 6s, because once you get these up to level 140, yes, the regular ones are really cool. The very new version ones are even cooler, more all damage dealt, precision, and on top of that, because you have other things like all your lower tier stuff that eventually you're still gonna need. I made the mistake and used too many of these for awakenings. Yes, you can even awaken your Star Spawn. You're never gonna not need Star Spawn cores, whether they're the low grades 1, 2, 3, 4 or the super high grades 5 and 6. Granted, there are a couple ways to actually get some more of these here. There is a monthly package where you can snag some more of those, and I believe in the Starry Gem Mall, same thing. They have another package here that you can chase more. But one thing you'll notice is you will probably be running out of Stardust very quickly here. This is just a super premium resource when you're leveling up all these Star Spawn. But again, much like Cloud Island, Star Spawns are something that is going to be a slow burn. You're going to get eggs slowly. You can speed that up by getting the monthly packages and stuff like that, but it is probably the next one on the list as far as power levels go. And the last one I want to talk about focusing on, probably out of all of those, is going to be the Treasure Train. Yes, you can get some really insane, awesome Treasure Train bonuses. You can get additional, like, all damage dealt. You can see all the different things that we actually have here. Void Campaign can be really awesome. You can see our attack, block, HP, skill damage, holy damage, precision, all up there for all these different game modes and such, but it doesn't have as much impact as the other things we talked about here. Eventually, it will be a nice little stat boost, though, so it's not one to completely disregard, but it's not something to chase. I wouldn't, if I were you and I was someone who's spending, I wouldn't just buy these out every single time. That's a little much. I would instead be buying tons of these and getting my hero copies first, then focusing on my Cloud Island, then focusing on making sure my tenants are built up with enough Stellar Shards, working on my Star Spawn, and then any extra resources goes towards the Treasure Train. So let me know what you guys think. Would you change the priority of any of these in this list? Because again, different people have different kind of experiences in idle heroes, especially when it comes to spending. But to me, those are the most important ones to focus on and funnel any money that you are going to spend on the game. Which really you shouldn't. You should just try to play games fun, free to play. I can understand the spending side. I do it all the time. Hopefully it helps you though, and I'll see you guys next time.